This is Harness Elite Daily. Your edge in all of today's harness racing action. Let's get into it.
Hey, welcome to Harness Elite Daily. Today we're talking Plainridge Park at Spirit of Massachusetts Day. I've got Risi with me, and we're going to talk about the three big races, 6, 7, and 8, the Spirit of Massachusetts race. Brett, let's talk about race 6. How you doing?
Good. Happy to be here, JB. And, race 6 kicks off the big day Sunday for the major stakes races at Plainridge Park. Race 6, the Burt Beckwith Memorial here. Obviously, one of the first big ones on the card. This, I think, of the races we're going to talk about, races 6, 7, and 8, I think definitely race 6 is the most wide open race. But I do have a play in here. I don't know if some people will like it, some people won't. But my top here would be the 5, Jackson Cooper. Very versatile, has been there, the last few starts. Horse shows me he can come from on the pace or be up front. And I'll give you my reasoning here in just a moment why I think that Jackson Cooper can win it.
Okay, so you're going with a Brett Beckwith. You're kind of, I think, right, that the who do you think the favorite's going to be, though? I mean, it seems like the 7 to me would be the most logical choice.
I do. I think for once in my life will be the favorite.
Yeah. What do you, I was looking at it this morning. I wasn't really sure what to make of it. At first, to me, he looked like a no-brainer in that I definitely think he's the fastest. And obviously I'm a speed guy, so I always kind of gravitate towards the top horse. I was a little surprised, though, I couldn't get a quick answer on this. I was a little surprised with the driver that it's Bruce Ranger. I mean, he's a big driver up here in New England, but this is a Corey Stratton horse. Where's Jordan? I don't know, right? So I was a little surprised with the driver choice. To me, I was curious if you had any thoughts there on that.
Yeah, I was also surprised. I mean, normally on these days you kind of have your pick of what top driver you want to use. Bruce is good, obviously, going back years and years. He still has it, but for once in my life, I know has faced better. I'm just not sure if for once in my life is going to trip out here, essentially, or if Ranger's going to just blast off the car, maybe put him on the front. I just don't know what the trip is. I do know that for once in my life has faced better than what every horse in this field has faced, maybe other than, Capel to rescue there on the far outside, but for once in my life has chased better. So there's a difference there in the chasing times and the winning times. So that's what took me off, putting that one as my top.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that, for the 5, Jackson Cooper, I mean, I can just tell you a little bit in the Harness Elite algorithm, it does project improvement for him. He's one of the 3 horses that's projected to improve, like to show something maybe that he hasn't recently. So I mean, I think that's interesting. But you were what's some of your logic there on Jackson Cooper?
So most of the time in a 5/8 mile oval, post 5 is the best post you can have, right? If I'm going to play around a horse in this race, my first few pitches were the inside 4 horses. So essentially I'm going 5 out. So on a 5/8 mile oval, the best post you can have is 5 because you basically can either float, take back, leave. You have your pick from what you want to do. So Beckwith gets that. I love the trainer, Matt Medeiros. He seems to be razor sharp up here at Plainridge, so I know the horse is going to come in ready. And I think Beckwith's going to just take a quick glance to his right, and if he sees somebody leaving, he's going to go. And if he thinks the pace is too hot, he might just drop into a hole. But I think the versatility here is what's going to make it for Jackson Cooper. I really do. I think there's, the 6 has to probably come from off the pace with Tetrick, Soho, Spectre. Same thing for the 8. I don't foresee the 8 leaving, but if for once in my life doesn't leave, I do think Jackson Cooper could steal this race.
Yep. I mean, agreed. The our sort of systems and tools that we use here at Harness Elite do flag Jackson Cooper as the most versatile, as the most, we call it tactical energy. So he definitely, he's with the post, like you said, he's in the position to make his own, maybe make his own luck reacting to what other people do, and I think that will be good. Do you think? I mean, it seems to me Bruce Ranger, right? For once in my life, is probably the best early speed here. He's got to go, right? I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he'll have any trouble looping the inside 3 or 4 there.
Yep.
He may have a little bit of trouble or make a fast fraction early here with Beckwith, but for these horses to go 26-2 is, more than reasonable here. And you might get some, I guess you want to call it stupid speed, from the inside where these guys just want position. So that could hurt the 7, but that's another key is it's not going to hurt the 5. If somebody makes crazy speed, it's not going to hurt Jackson Cooper. So once again, it plays in the benefit of betting the 5.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. What kind of price do you think we'll get on him?
I think you're not going to get any more than 4-1. I really don't. I think when you're looking at the lines here and you see first, second, third, every start, I don't think you're going to get more than 4-1. But I would say if you get 3 or 4-1, it's a great bet. There'll be some money in the pools. I think if you get 3 or 4-1, that's a good bet.
And you might hear, right? Because I think, for once in my life, I think it's going to be the favorite, right? The algorithm predicts it's going to be the favorite. How low do you think he's going to go? I mean, what's your gut on that?
For my guess, I do think for once in my life in here will be 4-5. That's my guess.
5, yep.
Yeah.
The Dexter Dunn factor here. I mean, he's going to take a lot of money on a horse that it may be dead money. I think this is a hard assignment for him with all the speed to the inside. I mean, I think it's a tough race for the 8, for sure. Okay, so my favorite questions are who's in the lead at the quarter and who's in the pocket?
I'm going to take a gander and say 7-5 lineup. But I would only put about 40% of my trust on that.
Yep. Got it. And then I'll mention 2 horses and then we'll move on to the next race. 2 horses that the algorithm projects are going to improve or could hit basically improve or put up a strong or lifetime best performance in this race. One of them is the Todd McCarthy horse, Still Rolling. He's only raced a handful of times in the U.S. He's 12-1 on the morning line, but the algorithm is set, basically saying if any sort of pace collapse that he's one that could be there and to hit the board in this race. And the other one is a local New England driver, David Ingram on number 4, Twofold Cold, who, based on the morning line, is probably the most mispriced horse. His form is projected to improve. He doesn't have any early speed at all, so for him to basically hit the board, everything needs to go wrong for everybody else. But those were the 2 value ones underneath that I thought we would mention. Now, I don't, I agree with you. I think this race is going to set up for Jackson Cooper to be the value play. So chances are I would bet him over some of the chalk or over some of the favorites would be the way I would go with this. But any other thoughts before we go on?
No, I just think that, if you were going to maybe play some trifectas, you use that 3 and 4 underneath. David Ingram's a very good, underrated driver for these, these B and C tracks. He's actually phenomenal. He can really get a price across, and nothing against Todd McCarthy. Obviously, he's one of the North America's A drivers, but these are 2 horses that, if there is a pace collapse, could potentially get there. But in a field of 8, I don't see where there's going to be enough pressure here to get that sort of collapse, only because I see the outside 4, they're just in another tier of speed, I guess you could say. They've raced tougher, they've been better, they're quicker. These inside 4 are just, I think they're a level below, so I think that's where the separation in the race comes.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay, race 7. Let's talk about it. I mean, we're moving up the ladder here in terms of the excitement. This is the Clara Barton Pace, 150,000 purse. What were your first impressions looking at this?
Well, 2 things come to mind. Twinbee Joe Fresh, she's going to be 1-5. Everybody's going to bet Twinbee Joe Fresh. They know she's great. They know when she's on her game, she's pretty much unbeatable. But to me, she is beatable. Couple starts back in Canada, she came up lane. She needed a tightener. I believe she went over to Harris Philly there to get a tightener. She's going on what, 8 years old now? Six? What am I looking at? I'm sorry, 6 years old now. Um, she's one of those horses that when she's herself, you're not going to beat her. But she has tied up here, and not long ago. So I think she's getting to a point where she's, I don't want to say raced out, but she's starting to get tired a little bit. She's getting up there. But I think it's either Twin B Joe Fresh or, Unreasonable. Now, my value in the race is a horse that I know is capable. It just hasn't been herself this year, and it's the rail horse, Rodeo Drive Dale. Dave Miller gave this horse a couple of huge miles last year in Ohio, at the Meadowlands. This Rodeo Drive Dale, she has a lot of ability, but she has not been good in 2026. So if I had to pick a horse to pop and beat Twin B Joe Fresh, Unreasonable is going to be your second choice, obviously, but Rodeo Drive Dale, that would be my choice.
Yep. Rodeo Drive Dale, Gingras. When I look at that horse, I think he's had a couple of tough assignments in a row, and he's still young, right? I mean, this is a horse still with some significant upside. He's definitely an interesting one. But you mentioned Twin B Joe Fresh at 1-5. What would entice you to bet Unreasonable to win? What sort of price point?
I don't really know. I don't know if I can bet Unreasonable to win because I know Unreasonable. They got this horse. This initially Unreasonable was an Irv Miller horse that was purchased from Andrew Harris's, basically whatever you want to call it, friends or owners and stuff like that. They bought this horse off of Irv Miller, and this horse, as a 2-year-old, was like just crazy. They didn't think anybody could beat him. And then the 3-year-old campaign, same thing. A horse was racing at Red Mile, huge times. Anyways, make a long story short, Unreasonable, I thought once Andrew Harris got this horse, would be better than Twin B Joe Fresh. Now, here's my thought in this race. I can't bet Unreasonable, and I'll tell you why. If I'm Bruce Ranger,
I set you up for that. I knew you would say you would never bet Unreasonable. I was trying to lead you to water here on this one, but go ahead.
I can't look at this program, and I see Unreasonable likes to come off the pace a little bit. Let's not say a lot, but a little bit. If I'm Bruce Ranger or Yannick and I'm driving the 1 or 5, Dexter's going to the front by the time they make the half. So you want the pocket. I don't foresee Unreasonable getting the pocket in here. I think Unreasonable is left first over, uncovered, and that doesn't mean she can't be second because, if Twin B Joe Fresh gets the lead and skips away, okay then, But I don't foresee Unreasonable getting a trip in this race. I don't. I think I have to go 3-1 or 3-5. That would be my bet.
3-1, 3-5. Okay. And so, just to play back what you said, so Twin B Joe Fresh is in the lead at the quarter pole.
Mm-hmm.
And the most likely horse in the pocket, in your mind's eye, it sounded like it was Rocket Deo.
Yeah, I think if you're Bruce Ranger, you have to leave. If you are Bruce Ranger in this race and you don't leave with Rocket Deo, you're not giving the horse a chance to win.
Yep.
I would say that, Unreasonable sitting fourth or something, but I would say that, Twin B Joe Fresh here is over the top at the quarter. So I would say she's making her move to the top, by the time they get to the quarter.
Yep. No, for sure. Don't you think, as you play this out, though, a little bit, it seems like this is a tough favorite to beat. I mean, when I look at the numbers, there's questions of, questions about fitness and, is the horse peaking or not? But it seems like it's going to be pretty easy to get to the lead here.
Yeah, I think she kind of has her pick, whether she wants to just float out, drop in third, and then come over the top, or if she just wants to leave and, try to outrun everybody, I guess, or outrace everybody to the front. But in a short field of six, yeah, she should prove pretty dominant here.
Okay, bottom line, what are you betting if you can get some odds that you like?
3-1.
3-1. All right.
Yep. Yep.
3-1. All right, let's move on to the main event here. The Spirit of Massachusetts Trot.
So here's my take on the big one here. Antonioni, Yannick owns a piece of this one, right? Lexus Cody has won every big race, but Lexus Cody I'm not a fan of. I know the horse is great, but I think Antonioni is the better horse, and I think Antonioni is going to take better to a 5/8. I think Lexus Cody needs a mile track. I do. I think Lexus Cody needs a bigger track to be at his best.
And so for Gingras, I mean, on paper, it looks like it's going to be pretty easy for this horse to make the lead and to hold off anybody.
Yeah, I mean, Timmy might give him some resistance from the rail. My big value play in here, and I will tell you, the horse that raced absolutely out of his mind last time was the 6, Up Your Deo. This is a horse you cannot sleep on in this race. If Aki brings Up Your Deo in as good as he was last time, this horse is just sensational. The mile last time was incredible. If you look at the mile between Up Your Deo and Lexus Cody last time out, Up Your Deo raced 5 times better than Lexus Cody. And no discredit to Lexus Cody, but if you watch the race, Up Your Deo actually had a horse quit in front of him. Aki had to go around 3 wide. He was like 6 lengths off at the time before he even had to make this move. And Lexus Cody's is on the front. And I mean, he almost got him. So if you get
yeah,
go ahead.
No, finish your thought on the price.
I was gonna say, if you get 5-1 on Up Your Deo in this race, you'd have to be crazy not to bet a win bet on Up Your Deo.
Yep. So are you going to
put him off the last?
Are you going to put him over? Who are you going to put him over then? You're going to get that.
6
I think you're getting
6 with 147.
Yeah, you're going to get that price.
Yeah, and I think every exacta in that column is going to be over $40.
Yep.
So I mean, even if you wanted to bet, instead of betting to win, if you want to bet a few $5 exactas or however you want to bet them, I think because everybody's going to lean to the 1-4.
Yep, I agreed. I mean, I really think the 1 is going to be overbet here. Personally, I think the 4 has a great chance to win, but I completely agree with you with Up Your Deo. Aki is like a genius at race targeting. He's here to. There's no doubt that he's here to win. He doesn't want a second place check. He's here to win. I think. Yeah. He's done really well on these days in Plainridge before, and the horse. I think when you look at, or when the computer projects his numbers, he's consistently, this horse comes up with the most upside, right? Of like, he's the one that could put in a shocking performance. And, whenever, with Dexter Dunn in here as well, and a horse that, I always look and see, like, well, how does Trackmaster rate a horse? Well, Trackmaster rates the Dexter Dunn horse very highly, so I know he's going to catch money. He'd catch money on anything that can run. So it does. I definitely think you're going to get your price here, and we could celebrate tomorrow together, because I think there's a 30 or 40% chance that the 6 wins this race straight up.
Well, the thing, Aki, if he wants to win, I think he can't allow the lineup to be 1-4-4-1, right? He's got to put himself in play early. Now, I know that might seem hard. When I say put himself in play, let's talk about that for a second. I don't think he has to be on the lead, okay? But I don't think he should get out 6th, right? I think he's got to get off the car and just float and get over, like, to 3rd or 4th, somewhere to put himself in position where he can make one big move. Because let's put it this way: if you're coming off the back Eidos Kronos is going to be behind you, right? So let's say they turn for home and Aki strikes the lead with Up Your Dale. Well, here comes Dexter and Eidos Kronos.
Yep.
So now you're double dipping. You gotta go by the leader and you gotta hold off behind you. Again, I think it's another reason to key the 6 in this race.
But
he may race huge and get beat. So
yeah, I mean, don't you think with the 6 though too, right? I mean, we know Yannick's going to be on the leader in the pocket, right? He's going to be on the lead, right? He's going to take it to the lead. I think there's a little question in my mind about that. There isn't who else is going to be right there though, right?
Yeah, I mean the 5 I think is an auto pitch, security protected, just not good enough. Hay Porter has early speed, and Brett Beckwith has touted this horse before on TV that the horse is a really nice horse, but just again, it's like race 6 that we talked about. There's a certain level you have to get to race like the 1, 4, 6, 7 in here, and they're the only 4 I can see as contenders. The interesting part here is what Aki's going to do. The race really lies through him. I mean, I'll put it right out there. If it lines up 1, 4, 4, 1, no pressure to the quarter, it's over.
Yep.
Aki's just going to have too much work to do. But if he can, maybe if somebody can make a fast early pace, maybe the 2, will leave and get in between the 1 and 4. Because if the 1 and 4 don't line up, and one of these bombs goes out there and just blasts to the lead and separates them, the other one's going to come over the top. So if it lines up 4, 2, 1, I see Tetrick quarter moving the 1 to get Lexus Cody to the lead.
Yep. Well, he has to.
Again,
if it lines up that way, he kind of has to, right? I mean, what? I mean,
yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
He doesn't have a choice, right? So, yeah,
if I had to pick one strategy here, Yannick is not going to get off the gate worse than second. He won't allow it. He won't have it. So realistically, if Antonioni's out no worse than second, either Lexus Cody has to blast from the rail and put him in the pocket, or he'll have to come over the top if he lands in the 3 hole. But if this lines up 1, 4, 4, 1 and nobody presses to the quarter, it's not looking good if you're coming off the end. And it's not going to be looking good for me. Let's say that too, because I love Up Your Dale in here.
Yep.
So there's just got to be a little bit of pace presence.
Yep. I think you're gonna get it, because the Yannick horse is so strong that you gotta, like you said, if nobody goes after him, he has it his own way. It seems like it's a good setup for him if he's on the leader in the right. So somebody's got to chase him. I think Brett Beckwith may oblige, honestly.
Yep.
I think he may go for the lead. I think Lexus Cody try to put him in play, like you said. Anyways, in retrospect, this 8th race, it's actually a little bit more interesting than maybe at first glance. What do you think? The Yannick horse, what do you think that he'll be at post time? 2 to 5, 3 to 5?
No, I don't. No, I think this is a scenario where you get even money on the 1 and 2 to 1 on the 4, or vice versa. Yeah.
So I think
the public's going to have a tough time separating the 1 and the 4.
So you think the public's going to go Lexus Cody?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Yeah. Even though Yannick's not driving, he's fan favorite. Won this award, that award, whatever you want to call it. This stakes race, that stake. I think they're going to have a very tough time separating 1 and 4.
Yep.
But let's be honest, if this comes down to a scenario where one of them goes 2 to 5 and the other one is 3 to 1 and the 6 drifts to 8 or 10 to 1, I'm putting everything I have on the 6 and just hoping, that there's some kind of pace scenario. I know that Aki can beat these 2 horses. He raced a better race last out. If the horse comes in sharp, he can beat these.
Right. No, that's fascinating. I mean, one of the things that sort of in harness lead, the data, when you crunch the numbers a million different ways with track variants and things like that, the Yannick horse we think is faster than the 1, right? So what you're saying, which is interesting, right? What you're saying is that because of the 1, Lexus Cody's big win at the Meadowlands, it's Tim Tetrick, it's the rail. The public's going to get this, might get the 1 wrong. They might not realize that the speed piece, the which creates a little bit of value on the 4. And we think, like you said, we think the 6, and I completely agree, the 6 is the unheralded horse here. It's actually, as we talk through, it's actually a really good betting race, right? We think the public's going to get it wrong. And on the first 2 horses, we think they're going to get it wrong, right? Which is, I got to really think about that. So I know you're putting together your picks for tomorrow. So the track of the day, we'll get it up either tonight or tomorrow. Are you going to dabble? I know there's a pick 3 here, race 6, 7, and 8. Are you going to dip your toe in, or are you?
Yeah, if I dabble, I'll dabble just in the stakes races,
Yep.
But I like a win bet in race 6, on Jackson Cooper. Definitely like up your Deo here in race 8. So, and then the middle leg, we'll just kind of see what goes on there, or if I play the pick 3.
Yep.
So,
well, I mean, you've got an interesting pick 3, right? Because you've got, I would even bet that singles, right? Like,
yep.
I mean, I would single Twin B Joe Fresh, right? But like, you've got 2 pieces around him. That's a cheap, nice ticket with equity. It's pretty good.
I mean, if in the first leg, essentially, I don't like the inside 4. So if I were to go, 5, 6, 7, 8 with solo, for a $5 pick 3, that's a $20 play. If Aki pops on the end, you might get a nice payoff there. Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, so thanks, Brett, for your time. For people at home, we do track of the day. We're going to be doing 2 tracks a day. Brett's always going to do at least one of them. If you visit harnesselite.com, you can always see Brett's analysis. You could see Brett's track record. And, we've been doing pretty well with track of the day in terms of picking a lot of winners and creating a lot of value for people. So check that out at harnesselite.com. Brett, this has been fun. I mean, we should do this more. This is our debut. Like, so for people watching this, we got to edit out some of the shit that got a little sketchy here because of some tech issues. But Brett, we should do this more often. What do you think? You game? Yeah, yep. And there's stake season is here anyway, so this is perfect time. Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on.
Brett, thanks so much for your time this morning. Look forward to your tip sheet and your picks. I'll be at Plainridge in person for the race, and maybe we can get some live chat going on the discussion board here too. See how we do in this sequence, and it should be a lot of fun. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Thanks so much.
You've been listening to Harness Elite Daily. Your edge in today's harness racing action. For all of today's free and premium content, insights, and picks, head to harnesselite.com.